Greetings, Hoodoo family. I hope this video finds you doing well and you're growing and prospering on your Hoodoo journey. All the video and information that I'm putting out, I really hope that it is helpful to you. Well, today I have a very interesting account from one of our ancestors that I want to share with you. And then I want to break it down and give you some hoodoo knowledge from this account. But before I get into this, I just want to give you a quick update that the 2024 Hoodoo Almanac is available. It's back in stock and it's ready to ship. So those of you who pre-ordered, you will be receiving a shipment notice here soon. And I want to thank you for your support. Thank you for going to my website and ordering these books. I have the 2024 Hoodoo Almanac, the Root Work for the Home book. I also have Soulful Divination. All of these are tremendous resources to help you on your hoodoo journey, to help empower you and give you the skills that you need. So please go and check that out. So let's get into this very exciting story from one of our ancestors. This is coming from Aunt Cheney, who was telling her story to the Federal Writers Project, one of their journalists, for their slave narratives. And at the time that she was telling this story, Aunt Cheney was living in Cross, Alabama. So let's go ahead and get into her account, what she had to say. One of the most powerful things that ever happened to me was an incident with a looking glass. One night, I was standing in the room with my mother. I had my trunk open with the mirror laid down inside the top of it. Suddenly, I seen something black shoot past me, and just as quick, a screech owl flew in through the window and started screeching loudly right in front of my face. I was so scared. I jumped and fell right into the trunk with the mirror. Glass went everywhere. My mother threw up her hands and she began screaming, "Get up from there, girl. You're going to have 7 years bad luck. Shoo that owl away before you die in your tracks." I was so scared and shocked that I nearly fainted when I heard her say this. I could almost feel the haints coming after me to ride me down to my grave. And suddenly, my spirit told me to throw the pieces of the mirror in running water and take your mother's old shoe and burn it. This will drive away the haints and make the owl leave the house. I did all of it. And sure enough, what do you know? It worked. I was so relieved. This was an account from Aunt Cheney out of Cross, Alabama, for the Federal Writers Project Slave Narratives. If you haven't already, family, I really encourage you to go read the slave narratives, because it gives you firsthand accounts from our ancestors about their life, their beliefs. And to me, it really helps to connect with the ancestral roots. So please go check those out. But I want to break this down for you. I want to show you some things out of this account from Aunt Cheney. This story from Aunt Cheney reveals how sacred beliefs were shared from generation to generation. It also supports what I teach, that hoodoo is founded, it operates on the ancient Dakinga, the cosmogram. Specifically, I'm talking about the line of Kalunga, the watery divide between the land of the living and the dead, represented by shiny and reflective things in our physical world, such as mirrors. Now, some would call these superstitions, but they are deeply rooted spiritual beliefs in our African American community. Hoodoo is ancestral based and is a combination of African traditions and practices. In Aunt Cheney's story, the breaking of that looking glass represents the removal of the watery divide, Kalunga, between the land of the living and the dead. Without that barrier, bad spirits can enter the physical world and they can cause havoc in a person's life. So the mirror is viewed as a portal into the spiritual realm. And this is why her mother screamed for her to do something, or she would have bad luck. Additionally, during those days when someone in the house passed away, it was standard practice to cover all the mirrors in the house with fabric to keep the departed from using the mirrors to stare or cross back over into the land of the living from the land of the dead. Aunt Cheney also reveals another long standing spiritual belief regarding screech owls. It is a sacred belief that the owls can see into the spiritual and physical world. I did a whole video on this. But they can see death. Some thought that they even followed death. Early hoodoo beliefs believed that birds such as owls, the ravens, the crows, these all would act as spirit guides for the departed souls, guiding them into the spiritual realm, guiding them to their ancestors. So when an owl flew into the home, it meant that death was present. Someone was going to die soon. And growing up with all of my family, my elders, they believed in this too. A bird flying into the home was terrible. Aunt Cheney's mother, she knew this omen and she shared it with her. This scared Aunt Cheney, who almost fainted and flew into a panic all at the same time. And I guess if I was going through that, I probably would have done the same thing. But at that moment, either her spirit or the spirit of her ancestors told her what she needed to do. That's why I love this. It highlights maintaining that connection with your ancestors, because when you really need it, they will guide you. They will show you in your spirit what to do. But you got to be able to hear in your spirit what they're trying to reveal to you. Throwing the broken pieces of mirror into the water, this restored the boundary between the land of the living and the dead. It would stop anything from trying to cross over. Now, to the uninitiated, Aunt Cheney's story and actions might seem foolish, but when you really dig deeper into the spiritual beliefs, it makes sense. Once again, this story highlights the importance of sharing these traditions with each new generation to preserve our hoodoo heritage in the African American community. What I want you to do, take a moment. Think about some of the spiritual and sacred beliefs that have been passed down through your own family. I'm sure you have these. Take note of these and share them with the next generation. I hope this video has been helpful to you. And once again, I would just like to ask you to please support my work. Go to my website, check out my books. I do spiritual consultations as well. Please check that out, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, have a prosperous and strong hoodoo journey.